Look at the wall in front of you. Reach out and touch it. It feels cold. It feels hard. It feels solid. You trust this sensation. You trust the evidence of your fingertips. You believe that you are a three-dimensional being occupying a three-dimensional space surrounded by solid objects made of matter. You believe that the world has depth, that it has volume, that it has substance. I am here to tell you that this is a lie. The wall is not solid. The feeling of touch is an electromagnetic hallucination. And the three-dimensional space you think you live in might not exist at all. The cutting edge of theoretical physics, born from the study of black holes, suggests something impossible. It suggests that the universe is not a room. It is a screen. It suggests that everything you see, everything you are, is actually a two-dimensional data structure painted on the edge of the cosmos, projected inward to create the illusion of depth. You are not a solid object. You are a hologram. You are a shadow believing it is the person. And the reality you cling to is nothing more than a user interface designed to hide the code. To understand why reality is a lie, we must first dismantle the illusion of stuff. You think you are made of matter, atoms, protons, neutrons, electrons. You picture them like little billiard balls, hard and spherical. But this is a kindergarten model. If you zoom in on an atom, you find mostly emptiness, a vast, terrifying void. If the nucleus of an atom were the size of a marble sitting in the middle of a football stadium, the electrons would be tiny specks of dust orbiting in the top stands. Everything in between is nothing. You are 99.999% empty space. So why do you feel solid? Why doesn't your hand pass through the table? It is not because the atoms hit each other. It is because of fields. The electrons in your hand create a negative electric field. The electrons in the table create a negative electric field. Like charges repel. When you press your hand against the table, you are feeling the electromagnetic force pushing back. You are hovering on a cushion of force fields. You have never touched anything in your life. You have only sensed the resistance of your own magnetic cage. The solidity of the world is a phantom sensation created by the brain to interpret these forces. But this is just the surface of the deception. The true horror begins when we ask, how much information is in the universe? This question leads us to the most destructive objects in creation, black holes. In the 1970s, physicists like Stephen Hawking and Jacob Bekenstein began to argue about entropy. Entropy is a measure of hidden information. It is a measure of the disorder in a system. If you burn a book, the information in the book is not destroyed. It is scrambled into the ash and the smoke. If you had a supercomputer, you could theoretically reconstruct the book from the smoke. Information in physics is supposed to be indestructible. But what happens if you throw the book into a black hole? The book disappears. The light cannot escape. The information seems to vanish from the universe. This violated the laws of physics. It created a paradox. To solve this, Bekenstein made a radical discovery. He realized that when you throw an object into a black hole, the black hole gets bigger. But it doesn't get bigger in the way you expect. Its volume doesn't matter. What matters is its surface area, the event horizon, the skin of the black hole. He found that the amount of information a black hole can hold is directly proportional to its surface area, not its volume. This is strange. Imagine a library. If you want to fit more books, you build more shelves. You increase the volume of the room. You don't just make the walls bigger. But a black hole works like a library where the books aren't on the shelves. The books are plastered onto the walls. The inside of the black hole doesn't matter. All the information about what fell in the book, the star, the astronaut, is encoded on the two-dimensional surface of the event horizon. It is flattened, scrambled, turning from a 3D object into 2D data. This led to the holographic principle. If the most extreme object in the universe, a black hole, stores its information on its 2D surface, then perhaps the universe itself works the same way. Think about it. A black hole is just a region of space where gravity is maximized. If the rule holds for black holes, it should hold for everything. It implies that the information that makes up you, your DNA, your memories, your atoms, is not stored inside your body. It is stored on a two-dimensional boundary at the edge of the cosmos. You are a projection, a cosmic movie. The film reel is located at the far reaches of the universe, on a flat surface we can never reach. The light shines through that film and projects a three-dimensional image that walks, talks, and thinks it is real. That image is you. This sounds like philosophy. It sounds like madness. But in 1997, a physicist named Juan Maldacena proved it mathematically. He found a way to describe a universe using string theory. He discovered that a five-dimensional universe with gravity was mathematically identical to a four-dimensional universe without gravity existing on its boundary. They were the same thing. Just like a video game disc is a flat piece of plastic, but when you play it, it creates a 3D world of mountains and monsters. The disc and the game are the same information, just viewed in different dimensions. This is the AD-SCFT correspondence. It is one of the most important discoveries in the history of physics, and it tells us that depth is an illusion. The third dimension is a lie. Gravity is a lie. They are just side effects of the projection. They are the user interface of a flat, two-dimensional reality. Let's go deeper. Let's look at the resolution of this screen. If the universe is a hologram, it must have pixels. It cannot be infinitely smooth. In a video game, if you get too close to a wall, you see the jagged edges. You see the pixels. Does our universe have pixels? Yes. We call it the Planck length. It is the smallest possible unit of distance. It is a billion times smaller than an atom. You cannot divide space smaller than this. Physics breaks down. Geometry breaks down. Why? Because that is the limit of the data. That is the size of the pixel on the cosmic screen. You cannot have details smaller than the pixel. This implies that space is not continuous. It is discrete. It is a grid. We are living in a voxel universe, a Minecraft world rendered at an incredibly high resolution, so high that our biological eyes cannot see the blocks, but the blocks are there. This changes the meaning of location. You think you are here, sitting in a chair, but here is just a coordinate in the software. In a computer, the data for the character's head and the data for the character's feet might be stored on different parts of the hard drive. They only look connected on the screen. Similarly, the particles that make up your body might be scattered across the event horizon of the universe, separated by light years of distance on the 2D surface. But the projection brings them together to create the illusion of a contiguous human being. You are a scattered puzzle that only looks whole when viewed from a specific angle. Why does this matter? Why should you care if you are a hologram? Because it solves the problem of spooky action at a distance. Quantum entanglement. We know that two particles can be linked. If you spin one, the other spins instantly, even if it is on the other side of the galaxy, faster than light. Einstein hated this. He called it spooky. He thought it broke the rules of space. But in a holographic universe, it makes perfect sense. In the 3D projection, the particles look far apart. But on the 2D source code, on the boundary, they might be right next to each other. The distance is an illusion. The separation is fake. Everything in the universe might be connected intimately on the surface, and the feeling of isolation, of distance, of me versus you, is just a trick of the light. But there is a darker interpretation, a more biological one. If reality is a data stream, why do we perceive it as a physical world? Why do we feel pain? Why do we fall in love? Why did we evolve to see the illusion instead of the code? This is the interface theory of perception. Imagine you are writing an email on your computer. You see a blue icon that represents send. You click it. The email goes. But is the email really a blue envelope? No. The email is a complex burst of binary code, electrical voltages, and magnetic switches. If you had to toggle the switches manually to send an email, you would never finish. You need the icon. You need the lie. Evolution has designed our brains to hide the truth. We do not see reality as it is. We see reality as we need it to be to survive. Space and time are not the truth. They are the desktop icons. A snake is not a physical object. It is a data structure that represents danger. An apple is a data structure that represents food. We are navigating a user interface designed to keep us alive, not to tell us the truth. The creature that sees the raw quantum data gets eaten by the tiger. The creature that sees the tiger icon runs away and survives. We are the descendants of the delusional. We are the children of the lie. So look at the night sky, the stars, the galaxies, the infinite dark. You think you are looking into a deep void, but you might be looking at a painted dome. The universe might be finite, bounded by a horizon that contains all the data. We are inside the snow globe, and the glass of the snow globe contains the instructions for the snow. This explains why the universe seems so fine-tuned, why the constants of physics are exactly right for life. If they were slightly different, atoms wouldn't form. Why? Maybe because the code was written that way. Maybe because the surface area of the horizon dictates the complexity of the volume. We are limited by the bandwidth of the boundary. This leads to a terrifying thought about black holes. If you fall into a black hole, you don't just die. You are uploaded. Your body is torn apart, yes, spaghettified. But the information that makes you you, the pattern of your neurons, the quantum state of your atoms, is smeared onto the horizon. You become part of the database. Some physicists believe that, from your perspective, you might not even notice falling in. You might pass the horizon and continue living in a holographic projection, unaware that you have left the known universe. You might be inside a black hole right now. How would you know? If the holographic principle is true, our entire universe could be the interior of a massive black hole in a larger universe. We are the information stored on the shell of a singularity, dreaming that we are free. The illusion of depth is the hardest one to break. We feel depth. We move through it, but think about a 3D movie. You put on the glasses, the dragon flies out of the screen. You flinch. Your brain is convinced the dragon is in the room, but if you take off the glasses, you see a blurry, flat image. Physics is the process of taking off the glasses. And when we take them off, we see that gravity is just geometry. We see that matter is just vibration. We see that space is just entanglement. The stuff is gone. Only the math remains. This brings us back to the question of self. What are you? If you are not matter, if you are not solid, then you are information. You are a pattern, a song. The hardware doesn't matter. The hardware is just the boundary condition. You are the software running on the universal computer. This implies a strange form of immortality. Information cannot be destroyed, only scrambled. The pattern that is you is written on the ledger of the cosmos. Even if you die, even if the earth burns, the data remains. It is archived on the horizon. We are eternal, not as spirits, but as code. But it also implies a lack of agency. If we are projections, can the shadow decide where to move? Or does the object cast the shadow? If we are the result of data on the boundary, are we controlled by the boundary? In the AD-SCFT correspondence, the boundary determines what happens inside. The 2D world runs the show. The 3D world follows. This suggests that our free will, our choices, our movements, are dictated by a physics happening a billion light years away, on a surface we cannot see. We are the puppets. The strings stretch across the universe. And what happens if the screen flickers? What happens if the resolution drops? We look for glitches in the matrix. We look for anomalies, and we find them. We find that at the quantum scale, particles can be in two places at once. We find that observing a particle changes its behavior. We find that the vacuum energy is not what it should be. These might be the artifacts of the simulation. The compression errors. The universe is optimizing its rendering. It doesn't render the electron until you ask for it. It creates the reality on demand. This is efficient coding. Why render the whole forest if no one is looking? Just render the trees in front of the observer. This solipsism is baked into the physics. So touch the wall again. Press your hand against it. Really focus on the sensation. You feel pressure, but now you know that pressure is a lie. It is a signal sent to your brain to stop you from trying to walk through the code. You are a ghost touching a force field. You are a spectral image floating in a universe of pure data. Does this make you feel small, or does it make you feel vast? Because if you are a hologram, you are not contained by your body. Your data is spread across the entire horizon of the universe. You are everywhere and nowhere. You are as big as the cosmos itself. We are coming to the end of the age of materialism. For centuries, we thought the world was made of rocks and hard things. We were obsessed with the hardware of reality. Now we are entering the age of information. We are realizing that the software is what matters. The laws of physics are the source code. The geometry of space-time is the operating system, and we are the apps running in the background. It creates a feeling of vertigo, a feeling that the floor has dropped out from under us. Because if the world is not real, what is? The answer is the relationship, the connection. In a holographic universe, the only thing that is fundamental is the entanglement, the way one part of the code relates to another. You are defined not by your atoms, but by your connections to the rest of the universe. You are a node in the network. The network is real. The nodes are temporary. So when you look in the mirror, do not see a face. See a user interface. See a mask worn by the cosmos to experience itself. The eyes looking back at you are not made of jelly and water. They are made of math. They are apertures through which the universe processes data. The mask is temporary. The data is forever. The concept of the holographic principle destroys the idea of here and there. It destroys the idea of inside and outside. If the inside is just a projection of the outside, then the distinction is meaningless. We are folded reality, origami made of space-time. Unfold the paper and we are just a flat sheet of potential. Fold it up and we are a world. We are living in the crease. And perhaps this is why we feel so disconnected, why we feel a sense of longing for something more. We sense deep down that this 3D world is not enough, that it is a shadow of a richer, flatter, more complex reality. We are like characters in a book who suspect there is a reader. We are like Mario suspecting there is a player. We cannot see the player. We cannot see the reader. We can only see the level we are in. But the physics, the black holes, they are the glitches that let us see the pixels. They are the cracks in the wall where the light shines through. The universe is a lie, but it is a beautiful lie. It is a lie that allows for love, for art, for science. It is a lie that allows us to exist. If we were just raw data on the horizon, we would be static. We would be frozen. The projection gives us life. The hologram gives us motion. So accept the illusion. Play the game. Touch the wall and pretend it is solid. Kiss your loved ones and pretend they are real, because the simulation is the only game in town. And you are the main character in your own holographic drama. But never forget the truth. Never forget that beneath the skin of the world there is only code. Beneath the atoms there is only information. And beneath the fear of death there is only the eternal silence of the data waiting to be read. You are light, you are shadow, you are the echo of a scream at the edge of the universe, and that is enough. End of transmission.